these elections, by all means, they were amazing. It really lifted the spirit of the immigrant population here, particularly the Muslims and the South Asians. That Muslims have been feeling marginalized since 9/11. And lately, Indians have also been targeted by the Trump administration. So one of the most interesting things that I observed during these elections is how Pakistanis and Indians work together, particularly in New York. They were helping in taking voters to the polling stations. I saw Indian ladies going in the cars driven by Pakistani neighbors, and vice versa, of course. And in Virginia, where Ghazala Hashmi got elected the lieutenant governor of the state, which is huge, which is bigger than the mayor, And there I also saw Pakistanis and Indians helping each other, volunteering for her. The Indian congressman came here and lobbied for her Pakistani physicians and all, because there was a feeling that immigrants, particularly Muslims and South Asians, need to get together if they want to live in this country with respect and dignity. I have seen that some channels in Pakistan and also people on the social media are portraying this as a victory for Muslims or Islams or their faith or religion, whatever faith or religion they belong to. That is very wrong. Nothing could be more wrong than this. Remember one thing, there are only 1% Muslims in America, maybe 1.5%, probably less. And of course, 1.5% people cannot dictate anything. They don't have much of a say in American politics or in American, they cannot really bring hundreds of thousands of voters that are needed to flip the election in either way, the election either way. They don't have that kind of base. So he won, particularly Mamdani, because that's what people are talking about, presenting him as a big Muslim leader, practicing Muslim, and God knows what, is as a Muslim father, but he also has a Hindu mother who never converted to Islam, remained a Hindu, which is very good. I'm not condemning her. That is her decision, and that is something between his parents. But that shows that they are not a very religious family. He stayed in touch with his mother throughout all his life, and particularly during this campaign. Both his father, actually, his mother was more visible than his father, because she is a popular, Meera Nair is a popular filmmaker. She has support base of her own, so she was canvassing for her son. Islam, and he is a progressive person, who defines himself as a democratic-socialist, which is there is a wing within the Democratic Party which is called the Democratic-Socialist of America, DSA. He's a member of that group, and he associates with people like Alexandria Cortez, who leads the socialist group within the Democratic Party. So he is very obviously, very clearly, never tried to even hide. He never even tries to hide it. That he is a socialist. He has liberal views. He supports gays and lesbians. He believes in providing full protection to them, providing full health facilities to them, and giving them jobs in the government and everywhere. So his views are very different from those of mainstream Muslims. Yes, he did take a stand in favor of the Muslims because he thought that they were being wrongly targeted after 9/11, that there was a handful of people that was responsible for that attack, and not 2 billion Muslims of the world. So yes, he did, he stood for Palestine throughout this thing, for the Palestinians, as did his wife, who is a Syrian, and they feel that Palestinians have been wronged, that they have been targeted, that they have been killed by the Saudi troops, and he openly condemned this genocide. That is true. So, but that is something that a lot of progressive people in this country do. You have seen huge protests and rallies across America, particularly in universities and colleges. And these were not Muslims; these were Christians, these were Jews. I have seen many Jews in rallies protesting against what the Israeli army is doing to the Palestinians. So like them, he being a progressive, he has taken a very clear stance on the Palestinian issue, which of course coincides with our stance, and that's why we like him. But please do not portray it as a victory for Islam or Muslims. It is not. Let's start with with his own party, the Democrats. He, as I said, he belongs to left-leaning group described as the democratic-socialist of America. An ongoing tussle or conflict within the parties between right-leaning and left-leaning Democrats in this country. There are people on the right who believe that Democrats are losing. They lost the previous elections also because they were not left enough, that they should have taken clear stance in favor of the Palestinians. They should have been more open in condemning Trump. They should have confronted the right-wing Republicans. And because they showed weakness, and that's why they didn't get the support of the groups that would have otherwise supported support Democrats in elections, and that's the reason they lost. Then there are groups who said, no, America is not a socialist society. America is not a Muslim society. The majority of Americans support Israel, and therefore we need to become more mainstream. We need to tilt a little bit towards the right, and that is how we can win over votes all across the country. Now, Mamdani's victory, not so much Ghazala Hashmi, because Ghazala Hashmi, in many ways, a traditional politician, very careful, and she also supports, of course, Palestinians in Gaza. She also spoke against Islamophobia and everything. But she is, I would say that she is also progressive, very progressive. But she's a mild person and comes across as somebody who will be very careful in taking any position, which she is. But she's also very influential. But Mamdani's victory actually has emboldened the left wing in the party. They are trying to take more space. They are asking for their voices to be heard, and they will try to come on the center stage of the party. While the right wing would say, okay, look, New York has always voted for the Democrats. New York is dominated by, there are many immigrants there, so it is sort of an immigrant city. So it is easy for left-leaning people to win in New York. The same goes for Virginia. In Virginia, particularly northern Virginia, we have a lot of immigrants living close to Washington, D.C., and they are the ones who vote for Republicans. Otherwise, you look at the rest of the state, it's all red, and entire rural area votes for the Republicans. So they will say that, look, these are the people who have always voted for us. So yes, it is good. It will lift our spirit. We should rejoice, but we should not go too far left. So now only time will tell which groups prevails, whether the Democratic Party is going to go more left or more right, and who will be the next candidate, what will be their performance in the midterm elections, which will be held next year, and those will be deciding elections. Because if the Democrats can take the House of Representatives from the Republican, which they can, there is a possibility, and the Senate, and then this government, the current government, although Trump will remain the president in American presidential system, once you're elected, you only go after completing your tenure. But he will be a toothless president, what they call a lame duck president, and he will not be able to do much. Come to Republicans, how would it impact the Republicans? There are two strong possibilities. Number one, it will alarm Trump and his voters. And President Trump is very clear on one thing. He knows that liberal university educated, college educated, left leaning people never vote for him. They not even want their vote. He depends on a particular segment of the society, the working class, white Americans who feel that the white people are being turned into a minority in America, and they feel insecure, they feel alarmed, and they are the ones who vote for him. So one reaction could be that let's become more right wing, let's become, I mean, like let's taking more actions against the immigrants. Let's start talking about Christianity, Christian values, and all those things. Let's take a stronger stance against abortion, against gays and lesbians. So these because these are the things that actually are major issues for most right-leaning conservative people. So the party could become more conservative, and or the other reaction could be that okay, let's just soften our positions on these issues. Let's be more accommodating towards immigrants and others. Be more open to gays and lesbians. Let's be a little bit milder on issues like abortion. It is not obvious which, so far it's not obvious which way the Republicans will go, but to me it seems, knowing Trump and having lived through his first tenure or now the second tenure, I could say that Trump is not the type to soften up, not the type to change his positions. I think this defeat will further strengthen his positions on these issues. It will make him more right wing, more conservative, and he will try to do politics now in the name of conservative values, anti-immigration policies, anti-gay and lesbian policies, anti-abortion, and there is a sizable portion of the American population that shares his views, and so it will be wrong to believe that these elections mean that Trump has been defeated or that his ideology has been defeated. No, he is very much there. He is still strong. That if the change that we saw in New York and Virginia and in New Jersey and in Michigan and in Cincinnati, Ohio, because Cincinnati also elected a Muslim mayor, so did Detroit. So if that change becomes a national trend and Democrats start taking what is called the neutral states, the states that are neither Democrats nor Republicans, because they are neither Democrats nor Republicans. They are the one who actually decide. There are 5 or 6 states that decide the fate of the American election, because it is. People know that California will go Democrat, vote for Democrats. Texas will vote for the Republicans. New York will vote for the Democrats. So there are certain states that often change their positions. So and that's why they decide the election. So if these left-leaning views also penetrate the Midwest, the South, and the West, then of course there is a strong possibility that Democrats can win the next election. But we still have 3 years to go. We still have 1 year to midterm elections. So I would say it is still too early to say anything at this stage. I mean, we cannot say definitely that we cannot say that Trump will definitely prevail and or the Democrats are going to capture the White House.